Picture a world completely devoid of its basic operating system. No land masses to break the horizon, no shifting seasons, and no predictable cycles of time to measure a day. Just a blank, liquid slate. In this formless expanse, the entirety of terrestrial life is isolated to a single wooden vessel. The Ark is the last remaining pocket of biology, drifting aimlessly on a violent, endless ocean. The narrative pivot occurs in the first verse of chapter 8, where God remembered Noah and the surviving life forms. This term signals the active divine initiation of the Earth's recovery. The text describes a physical mechanism for the water's retreat. A forceful wind is sent to pass over the Earth, acting as an evaporative engine that causes the floodwaters to visibly recede. Simultaneously, the original sources of this catastrophe are shut down. The subterranean reservoirs, the fountains of the deep, and the atmospheric downpours from the windows of heaven are systematically blocked and restrained. By capping those water sources and applying that wind, the Earth crosses a threshold. The era of passive, timeless destruction ends, and an era of active, chronological restoration begins. This animated timeline tracks the return of measurable time. After exactly 150 days of flooding, the text gives us a firm chronological marker. In the 7th month, on the 17th day, the Ark physically grounds itself on the mountains of Ararat. The timeline continues to progress as the water level drops. It takes until the 10th month, on the very first day, for the surrounding mountain peaks to finally break the surface of the water. Noah waits another 40 days before initiating his first empirical test. He opens a window he had built into the Ark and releases a raven into the outside environment. The raven exhibits an erratic flight pattern, flying back and forth. Because ravens are scavengers willing to land on floating carrion, its survival out there doesn't definitively prove that dry, habitable land has emerged. To get better data, Noah deploys a dove. Doves require clean, dry ground to land and feed, making them the perfect biological sensor to test the actual surface conditions of the Earth. The dove finds no resting place for its feet and immediately returns to the Ark. This gives Noah hard proof that the floodwaters still cover the lower, habitable terrain. He implements a strict 7-day waiting period before releasing the bird again. This highly regulated interval shows a deliberate return to tracking natural weeks. When the dove returns in the evening, it brings back crucial biological evidence, a freshly plucked olive leaf. This single leaf proves not only that the water has receded, but that vegetation is once again accessible and actively growing. Trapped inside a sealed ship with limited visibility, Noah successfully utilizes these birds to gather hard environmental data, confirming step by step that the Earth's ecosystems are actively rebooting. By the first day of the 601st year, Noah removes the covering of the Ark and looks out. For the first time, he makes visual confirmation that the surface of the ground is completely free of water. He waits nearly 2 more months. Finally, on the 27th day of the 2nd month, the Earth is officially declared completely dry and stable. At this point, God speaks directly to Noah, issuing the command to evacuate. He is instructed to leave the Ark alongside his wife, his sons, and his daughters-in-law. A secondary command immediately follows: empty the ship of its cargo. Noah is told to bring out every single living creature that survived the journey, including the fowl, the large cattle, and all the creeping things. They are given a clear biological imperative upon their release. They are commanded to breed abundantly, to be fruitful, and to rapidly multiply across the restored landscape. What follows is a massive, highly organized procession. The animal kingdom streams out of the Ark, instinctively separating after their kinds, by specific species. This physical exit marks the definitive end of their quarantine. The survivors are transferred out of an artificial state of emergency preservation and deposited right back into the natural, functioning ecosystems of a renewed Earth. Stepping out onto the dry soil, Noah's immediate priority isn't to build a house or secure a settlement. His very first act is to construct an altar to the Lord. He ceremonially selects specific animals classified as clean beasts and clean fowl, offering them as burnt sacrifices upon this newly built stone structure. The text describes the divine reception of this offering with a distinct sensory metaphor, noting that the Lord smelled a sweet savor, indicating complete acceptance of Noah's worship. This prompts a profound internal resolve from the Creator. God makes a formal promise within his own heart. He will never again curse the ground for the sake of mankind. Embedded right inside this promise is a sobering theological caveat. The text notes God's clear-eyed recognition that the imagination of the human heart remains inherently evil from its youth. The flood did not cure human nature. Despite that persistent flaw in humanity, the guarantee holds. A crucial second clause is established, an absolute promise to never again smite every living thing with a global, structural catastrophe. This diagram illustrates the specific, cyclical natural rhythms explicitly guaranteed by this new cosmic covenant. It establishes a perpetual loop of natural law, promising that the vital rhythm of seed time and harvest, alongside cold and heat, will never be suspended. The guarantee extends to the remaining cycles. The unending rotation of summer and winter and the daily oscillation between day and night are permanently locked into place. The event concludes with the establishment of permanent laws that govern the natural world. These specific cycles, from the changing of the seasons to the rotation of day and night, form a predictable rhythm that remains the foundation of our physical reality.